Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. About a year ago, my favorite coworker came to me and she wanted to buy a new car. Her old one was about 10 years old and completely falling apart. But she had some requirements. She didn't want to spend full luxury prices, but you could tell she wanted a lot of those luxury features. She wanted something that got good gas mileage, and she wanted something to take care of in the wintertime and get through some snow. And I think I had the perfect vehicle for her. She's really liked it, and it's also a vehicle I'd probably buy for myself. It's a 2023 Mazda CX-30. Let's go have a look at it. The CX-30 is essentially a jacked up Mazda 3 hatchback, the compact car. And I think it works really well. I like the styling of the Mazda 3 anyway, and I think it looks even better when you raise it up just a little bit. And it really starts with the front of it. It has Mazda's trademark grille, but I like some of the design cues. I just like how the front just kind of wraps in, and then just kind of just barely folds over the front headlamps, the LED headlamps here, and the chrome detailing. I think it just works very well for this vehicle. It looks very classy. Definitely looks upscale. 18-inch wheels. This has the black wheels on it. I think it looks pretty good. But you can see from the profile, I mean, it really does look kind of like a compact hatchback jacked up. But it just looks good. I think it works well. It looks like, you know, kind of a nice city car, but it's pretty roomy inside of it too. And just a lot of nice forms. I really like this form. It comes off the front fender. You can kind of see this ridge. It comes back, and the way the shoulders come around here too. I think it's just really nicely executed. Again, not overly done, not a lot of glitz. It's just the forms are just right. I like the tail lamps, like how they kind of wrap around. They're all kind of fared in. Looks very nice as well. Power hatch. And coming inside, again, for a compact car, not a bad amount of space back here. You got a couple people in here in your luggage. The back seats do fold down, so if you need more space, you can get that. They're split fold, and easy to get everything in here. The interior is far more premium than I think most people would expect in a compact Mazda. And it really just starts with the look and feel of it. I mean, everything you touch is padded, the stitching on the dash, you got the browns contrasting with the black down below, brown here in the console with the French stitching, and here in the steering wheel, nice thick leather wrapped steering wheel. I just like the way everything looks. I also like the details. I like how they tucked in the controls for the dual zone auto climate control. Again, instead of just making something big, fat, and ugly here on the front of the dash, it's all pretty and pushed in. Everything's kind of chromed, looks nice. I also like the screen. Again, instead of just tacking it on the front of the dash and looking like you just glued it on there, you know, it's an art piece. It's kind of set back in there, real glassy, looks real pretty. Same thing with the air vents, just nicely integrated. This has the Bose sound system in it. And again, the speaker grills just look very nice, look very expensive, sounds great. Got the sunroof. Everything just, again, I just like the way it looks. So at the screen I like the way it's set there, it's pretty. The one thing I don't really care for is it's controlled by the joy wheel down below. The menus aren't as easy to use if you're trying to get into tuning mode for satellite radio, which I like to do. You gotta push into it, then you gotta get into a mode, and then you gotta scroll all the way up. And then if you have it on, you know, channel 75 or channel 100, and you try to go back and scroll again, it doesn't remember where you are. So you have to go back and do this again. You start from one. It's just ridiculous. There are some things they could do to make this just a little bit simpler, easy to use. After I've been in the car and I've driven it several hours, I get over it, but I just think it's not the easiest thing to use. This does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's got the USBs, so it's very easy to connect all your devices if you want to. Some other comfort features, you know, beyond the sound system, you got heated seats in the front, you got a heated leather-wrapped steering wheel, and it has a proper head-up display. Instead of some of the flip-up plastic ones that, you know, some of the cheaper ones are, this has a proper projection heads-up display out over the hood. It's also very well equipped with safety. Again, you know, I knew my friend was going to be on the highway driving 30 miles each way to work, and I want to make sure she was safe. This has adaptive cruise control, it's got automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, rear cross path detection, and blind spot warning. So pretty much the full array of crash avoidance systems. Well, my friend's CX-30, she did not get the turbo, but I got the turbo on this one. I am really glad I did. So the engine is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, like I said, with the turbo. Generates 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. In a vehicle this size with all-wheel drive, that's plenty of power. It definitely gets up and moves. Fuel economy, again, if I didn't have the turbo, it'd be a little bit better. But fuel economy is rated 22 in the city, 30 on the highway. So again, for an all-wheel drive crossover, that's not terrible. But it's kind of on the border edge of what you'd expect for something of this size. But what I really like is I like driving it. I mean, it's very responsive. The turbo just moves it right away. Spent a lot of time this weekend out on 2-lane roads, out in farm country. And, you know, trucks are moving slow, cars are moving slow. And it was no problem whatsoever just to step on the gas and just step out and just leave them. So that was great. On the interstate, you can run pretty much any speed you want. You got power in reserve. So I think it's very nice, reassuring. But some other things I really like too. It's a Mazda, and I always say with a Mazda, you kind of has that little bit of a feeling of a Miata in every single one of them, and this one does. And especially since it's kind of compact and small, and again with the turbo and really peppy. But the steering's really tight. The suspension's firm, but it feels very sophisticated. It's kind of what you would expect in a Mercedes or BMW, where you hit a bump and it kind of absorbs a bump, and then it just kind of rebounds, and just does it in a very controlled way, in a very stepped way. And it's just very sophisticated. And what's really surprising is this actually has a torsion beam rear suspension. It's not a full independent suspension system. And a lot of times that'll transfer vibrations into the car and not be as settled, but it is. I mean, you just go over the bumps, it just soaks them up. On the highway, on the interstate running speed, you come off the bridge and it just plants itself. And I just am really impressed with the way it drives. So now my friend's had her car for about a year. She's really enjoyed it, and she's really happy with the decision she made, and it's doing everything that she was hoping it would do. She even had a pretty serious accident with it and did a really nice job protecting her. She walked away without any injuries. Didn't number on the car, but the car did exactly what it was supposed to do. So let's talk about price. Again, the idea here was to get a vehicle that wasn't luxury car pricing. This one, the CX-30, starts just under $23,000. If you get everything on this one, this is the premium package, pretty well loaded out, $36,810. And I think for everything this car offers, the refinement, the power, I think it's a very fair price. Well, next week we'll have another fun car. Till then, storm forward.